What is up, my friends? You are welcome along to our player ratings video here on Anfield Agenda after Liverpool just about squeaked by West Ham with a 2-1 victory. A result that leaves Arne Slot's boys just 2 victories away from league title number 20 and Premier League title number 2. Over the course of this video, I'm going to go through the referee, the players, the substitutes and Arne Slot, giving them all a score out of 10. Feel free to play along in the comment section. Some of you have already submitted your player ratings in our match reaction. Connor has averaged those out, and as always, they will be in the upper right hand corner of each player graphic, and my score will be the large one in the centre. It being a match day though, we wouldn't be here without the tremendous support of our incredible sponsors Manscaped, the world's #1 men's grooming supplier in my humble opinion. Why not treat yourself to the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the all-in-one men's grooming kit from Manscaped featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 with the skin-safe technology, a battery that lasts 90 minutes, a bright LED spotlight and it's waterproof. The set also includes the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmers, Manscaped's 2 liquid formulations, the Shed travel bag and the boxer briefs are their free gift to you as well. And you can get that or anything else at manscaped.com with our code Anfield20. Use that code at checkout or scan the QR code in the bottom corner. And thank you to Manscaped for the support. Right, loads to get through, so let's get stuck into the ratings. Andy Madley first up, and do you know what? I think he had a good game. I don't think Andy Madley put a foot wrong today, and that was one of the most, the best refereeing performances I remember for this season of a ref coming to Anfield. Didn't make himself the centre of attention, didn't let the game get out of hand. I thought he dealt with it well, and I thought that should be reflected in the score. So I've given Andy Madley a 7.5, and the Anfield Agenda audience, not feeling quite as generous, you've gone for an average of 6.3. Next up, Alisson Becker, who was, of course, your Anfield Agenda man of the match, and thank you to everybody that voted in that. And he's the reason we won the game. Simple as that. Yes, we scored 2 goals, but West Ham created a lot, and without Alisson's brilliance, the Mohamed Kudus save in the first half, tipping it onto the bar, the one-on-one save in the second half, the man just keeps showing us why he's the best in the world, and again, very grateful to have him back between the sticks. So Alisson today will, of course, get a high score, and for me, that number is 9. And the audience, well, not too far behind, an average there of 8.6. Feel free to let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with those scores. Moving on now to Connor Bradley, who returned to the starting lineup for the first time in a long time. And look, it would have been a preordained substitution, so people wondering why he was taken off. I think it was about 67, 68 minutes. That would have been under instruction from the sports science and the medical team. While he was on the pitch, I thought he was brilliant, very aggressive, and he sets the tone for a defence, a tone that was lacking a lot in the second half. I thought Connor Bradley did a very good job today. Looking forward to seeing him partake in the rest of the games this season and, of course, next year as well. So for Connor, for me, I'm giving him a 7.5. And actually, that's identical to the audience. Now, I know I say this every week, but I truly don't know the audience average scores when I'm giving my scores to Connor. So we're seeing this the same way. You love to see it. Next up, Ibrahima Konate, and he worries me. He makes me nervous. I can't lie, he does. Some weeks he looks like he is one of the greatest centre-backs in the world, and then other weeks he looks like his head's all over the place. And with 1 year to go on his contract, if he's not budging on the 200 grand a week, then I'm a seller this summer, because I don't think he's a 200 grand a week centre-back. But for today's performance, again, I have questions about both our centre-backs. Fulkrug had a header that hit the crossbar, and Virgil and Konate were 5 yards either side of him. There was just too many times today where centre-backs were left wanting. So for Ibu today, I'm giving him a score of 6. And the audience gone a little bit higher there with an average score for Ibrahima Konate of 6.2. Now we come on to our captain, and he does get a bonus point because he scored the goal. So, you know, if you want to figure out what my actual score would have been, just knock a point off. Gray header, we need more of them. But again, the communication and the situation with Andy Robertson for the equaliser was, well, it was a mess. Robbo was very angry at it. And Virgil, I don't know why he insists on every time he's making a defensive clearance just putting it out of play, whether it's a header or a pass. He just never tries to pick out a man when he's anywhere near the sidelines. Just puts it straight out, turns around and gets back into his position. I think he's better than that, and I think I can expect more from him. So today, look, I wasn't impressed with the captain. I'm giving him a score of 6.5. Probably would have been a 5.5 if he hadn't got the goal, but he did get the winner, and for that I am very grateful. I'll be even more grateful when the big man signs his new contract this week. Next up, Costas. Am I the only one who felt like he shouldn't have been taken off today? I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Costas is the best left back in the world, but I didn't see any problems with the way he was working today. I thought that he was getting forward plenty. I thought he was defending okay, and I thought we looked far weaker when Andy Robertson came on. So for me, I'm going to give Costas today a score of 7, which I think he deserves, and the audience have gone a slight bit lower with an average score there of 6.5. Moving on now to Ryan Gravenberch. First half, I thought he was amazing. I love that he lets the ball roll across his body, uses his body to shield and gets away from players. And I thought he was bossing the midfield in the first half. Second half, West Ham did start to get more control of the game. Whether that was a tactical tweak maybe from Graham Potter or not, I don't know. But Gravenberch's influence did wane a little bit. That being said, though, still a decent performance from Ryan, and I'm giving him a score of 7, which is ironically, well, maybe not ironically, but surprisingly perhaps, the exact same as the Anfield Agenda audience. Now, I want you guys in the comments to let me know. Agree with that 7, or too high or too low? Moving on now to Alexis McAllister. Love him, love him, love him. Very nervous seeing those links again with Real Madrid surfacing today, and we will cover those in more detail tonight at 8:30 in the Late Night Agenda, so make sure you come and join us for that. A reminder as well, the chat for all of our late night shows now is back to being open to everybody, so do come along. McAllister, I thought he had a good game today. Always in the wars out there as well, and I don't know how he doesn't pick up more injuries, because he always seems to be getting caught in these 50-50 challenges. That being said, I'm going to give him a 7.5 today. I thought he was the best of our midfielders, and the audience thinking similarly with a score there of 7.7. Curtis Jones, probably a surprise to many that he started ahead of Dominic Szoboszlai, but I thought he was alright. Not great, not terrible, always have a high work rate, always good in the counter pressing, but again, not really able to grab the game with the scruff of the neck and make enough happen. So I don't know if I'm being a bit critical or not here, but I'm giving him a 6.5 because I think it's a fair reflection of what I've seen. Did he deserve the start over Dom? Well, honestly, I think we can expect a little bit better from both of them. And the audience as well agreeing there with a 6.5 for Jones. Moving on now to the great man. First half, I thought he was unplayable. Everything he touched was brilliant. His control and his first touch was outstanding. His assist for the Diaz goal was remarkable. He knows the bounce is going to beat the defender, so lets it do so. Down the right hand side then, and it's all about delivering the time of the pass. Diaz didn't have to break stride. It was perfect. He is perfect, and he's a red for 2 more seasons. So first half would have been nearly a 10 out of 10 from Mo. Second half, well, we just weren't able to get him as involved, and he seemed a bit more isolated. So overall, I'm giving Mo a 7.5, and I think he can be very, very happy with that performance. Looked like he played with a bit more of a smile on his face as well, and you could see he was certainly relieved when the final whistle went, knowing that we're just now 6 points away from that league title that he and the team so desperately want. Right, Lucho. I thought he did well in the first half. I thought we varied up our attack quite a bit. Good bit did come through the right, but Diaz had his moments on the left as well. Costa's making some underlapping runs, buying him a bit of space. Don't like him. Moved into the centre, and again you're going to ask the question, and rightly so, what's going on with Chiesa? Why isn't he getting a sniff? And Elliott as well. But look, Diaz today, I thought he did well. I like him on that left-hand side. Him and Cody, I feel comfortable with both of them. So I'm going to give Lucho a 7.5. The audience have gone a bit higher with an 8. And of course, he did score the goal for us as well to open up the scoring today. But that for me was all about Mo putting it on a plate. So well done to Lucho. Another good performance. Now we move on to Diogo Jota. I'd sell him. I'd sell him and Darwin in the summer, and I can't deny it. I would. I don't know how he fits into this team as a starter. He always looks better for me coming off the bench. I'm not seeing it in him. He just doesn't look himself, and he doesn't look comfortable out there. And because of that, I've reflected that on my score from, which is a 5, and the audience a little bit higher with a 5.5. But nothing against Diogo, but we're not seeing the best of him. And in Arne Slot's system and the way that we play, I think we can expect more from a centre forward. So for me, a 5. The audience, a 5.5. Moving on now to Andy Robertson. We looked weaker when he came on. there's no getting away from that. We looked more vulnerable than the left-hand side. I'm not going to really blame him there for Virgil kicking the ball off him for the own goal. But again, it was a mix-up between our two left-sided defenders. And again, not great going forward. So as much as I do love Andy Robertson, and I always hate to give him a negative score, but I call it as I see it. And today he's getting a 4 from me because I thought he was awful when he was on there. 5.1 for the Anfield Agenda audience. Now, Cody Gakpo, look, we didn't do much attack-wise in that second half, but Cody didn't really do anything wrong. I thought he was trying to make things happen, feeding good balls in down the left and in behind to Diaz as well, looking to cut inside, move the ball, trying to get a shot away. He was looking to get involved in the game and he was looking to be on the front foot, but we just didn't attack enough and give him too many options. When you see Alexis McAllister picking up the ball in the centre of the park, you can see Cody give them that out ball all the time on the left, which was good to see. A couple of them found their man, a couple of them didn't. But overall, I think it's another step back towards form for Cody Gakpo. So today, I'm giving him a 6 from the bench. The audience have gone a little bit lower with an average of 5.6. Jarell Quansah. Grand, no issues with him coming on at right back. As I said, I think it was probably a preordained substitution because Conor Bradley was coming back from a long spell out and probably couldn't do the full 90. So the manager chose to bring Quansah on, and I've no issue with that whatsoever. Don't think he really did anything too wrong. So Jarell Quansah, I'm giving a 6 to as well, and the audience pretty similar with a 5.8. Dominic Szoboszlai. Honestly, and I don't mean this to sound rude, I don't remember what he did when he came on. Yeah, I'm a fan of Dom's. I'm not trying to in any way undermine him, but I don't remember him really getting involved much when he came on. So because of that, I'm going to give him a 5.5. The audience must feel similarly with a score there of 5.8. But do let me know in the comments your thoughts on Dom, because he's a name that does come up quite a bit in conversation with Liverpool fans. Now we move on to Endo, who was brought in to see out the game, and unfortunately we conceded quite shortly afterwards. Nothing to do with Endo, of course, but you know, he is the closer at this point. We did go on to win it, but much like I'm talking about Szoboszlai, I don't really remember him having much to do, Endo, when he came on. So that in mind, I'm going to give him the average 6, which is usually my default substitution score for somebody that isn't on for too long. The audience, by the way, went with a 6.3 for Endo. And lastly, Arne Slot. And look, it's been a great season and it's an epic achievement to win the Premier League in your first season. But I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't know what our brand of football is at the minute. And I don't like that we are seemingly a one-half side. Whether that's the second half or the first half, we don't seem to have a full 90 minutes of high-energy football in us. And I don't like the slowness of our build-up. So I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to see if this is him not having enough players that he can trust to play at the intensity required. But again, I also want to know, why is he snubbing Chiesa? Why is he snubbing Elliott? And why aren't the journalists asking these questions in press conferences? So, being honest today, I don't think he got it right, particularly in the second half of the changes. They weakened us. So I'm going to give Arne a 5.5. And the Anfield Agenda audience aren't too far away again with an average score there of 5.8. So that is it for the player ratings, my friends. Now it is over to you guys to let us know your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do drop a like on it. And of course, we will see you at 8:30 tonight for the Late Night Agenda, where we'll go through it all in more detail and of course talk transfers and contracts as well. Thank you once again to our sponsors, Manscaped. A quick reminder that you can get 20% off and free shipping store-wide with our code Anfield20. Use that at checkout or scan the QR code. We'll talk soon. Much love. Bye-bye.